Hello everyone, and welcome back after a extended hiatus to Dungeons & Dragons: The Second Age. How are we all doing?
Yeah,
I just remembered what happened last time, and I'm angry.
Yeah, you're angry. I'm traumatized. I think everyone else is angry as well, actually.
Yeah, I think everyone's
stressed.
angry but you.
Yeah, everyone's angry apart from Elizabeth, who's sitting there huddling in the corner going, ah.
As she should be.
Yeah.
See, honestly,
Good luck doing what she's been doing so far, which is burying this under a map in the back of her brain somewhere where she doesn't have to focus it on it at all. 'Cause that's what she did last time. She nearly died. Except this time she did.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway,
yeah. Who
I'm just
wants
happy
to recap the
Grim
thing that
was
happened
getting
last time?
yeah, we'll recap. Let's have a recap. So, we're in the tavern with our new half-elf friend, who was like the whole reason we went to space. So we quickly whipped up this page. We did some magics. We found out what it said, and there was a bit that was like, "Hey, it's nonsense. It's in Elvish script, but it's not." So we spent a solid what was it, hour and a half decrypting a message together, which was fun as hell. And we found out what the message said, and we were like, shit, this is bad. We discussed our options, and we were like, yeah, the best thing, either way, whatever we're going to do next, it's probably best we're going to be going back to the keep first, so let's just go to the keep, and we can get more voices for the inputs, and we can do better stuff. I'm doing very well. But yeah, we got about halfway down the road, when we heard some very, very loud noises coming from the forest. So we got the horses and ourselves off the road, and we tried to hide. But then we found out there was a massive green dragon. The green dragon obviously very easily saw us because we didn't do very well on our rolls because it's us. We can't stealth for shit. Pass without trace could not.
Arya size in the distance.
Yeah,
Yep.
pass without trace could not save us, despite the fact that we didn't have disadvantage because we weren't wearing armor, which just makes finding the dragon even worse. So the dragon's kind of chill. He's just like, hey, this is my place now. Spread the word, assholes. And we were like, okay, we're gonna go this way. And then the dragon started following. Because presumably it was just being an asshole, basically. So then we were like, you know what?
It was being the dominant predator.
Yeah. So we were like, hey, if you're gonna follow us, we're gonna fuck you up, fam. So,
And it turns out we were the ones that were
so
gonna
we
get
turned
fucked up.
around.
Yeah.
We turned around and we had a scrap, and basically we fucked each other up. And Elizabeth technically died, but luckily Kelariis was on hand with 300 gold worth of diamond dust and a spell called Revivify.
Okay, but we're not gonna skip over the part of the reason is that
No,
the
we
Yeah.
are gonna skip over that. No, we are gonna skip
No.
over that part.
We fucked up the dragon enough and to enough of a surprise to him that he was like, I'm gonna leave, and we were gonna take that and regroup. And then Elizabeth said something extremely sassy, and the dragon turned around.
And decided to fuck our shit up.
Yeah.
And it was bad.
And the reason you died is because he expressly walked directly up to your unconscious body and crushed you.
Hey,
Yes.
look, we're not talking about that.
And Lyra died in that process as well.
Lyra also died.
Yeah, Lyra also died.
I'm so sorry,
But,
Lyra.
but on the bright side, Arya didn't take a single point of damage, so we're all
I
good.
didn't,
I still
because
don't know
I
what
was
happened.
smart!
That means everything is fine.
Yeah.
Even though I got dragged for not being smart. Even though I was smart.
Well,
Yeah.
you weren't
Well.
dragged for not being smart. Vondal expressed concern because it seemed like the kind of crazy thing that you'd jump into.
Hilariously, it was not me.
Yeah.
See, the problem is Fadal has not adventured with Elizabeth.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He doesn't know what kind of crazy shit she's been up to.
right.
So yeah, we literally went and found a place to sleep, and we slept. And that's all that happened after that, because the dragon fight was literally the majority of the session.
We did also send a warning to the coast.
Oh yeah, we sent some message.
Yeah.
We sent a warning to Castport and to Vondal. And then Elizabeth sent another message.
Which I realize I forgot to reply to, but
Yes,
yeah,
you did.
we'll come to that at some point because
Yes.
I gave you the general gist of what the message
Yeah,
said.
yeah. So that's the catch up.
Yeah. So, as you guys manage to find a place to rest up in the forest tree line, a short ways off the road, having a moment to digest what it is that you realize you have just borne witness to, that you are perhaps not the first people, but perhaps not the first people in a while to see a live dragon, but definitely the first people in a few hundred years to survive a dragon.
Barely.
Barely.
Also depends on what you count as survived.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all alive afterwards. That
Except
counts
for
as
Lyra.
survived.
But yeah, for
Except for Lyra.
Lyra
those,
doesn't really die though in the same way.
She still dies though.
Yeah, but she also kind of just like puffs until you summon her again.
Yeah, but it's not.
it's-
I mean, it can't
Anyway.
be pleasant.
She dies in the same way Scarlet dies.
But
For
that's not
those-
get any less like sad. Sorry.
for those of you who have a grasp on the mythology and the legends surrounding dragons, to run into something like this, it's a shock to the system as much as it is an incredible revelation. That these mythical creatures are, in fact, everything that legend told them out to be. Enormous, deadly, devastating.
Yeah, thank God this was confirmed to not be just a normal dragon, because
Yeah.
I would have felt like shit.
Yeah. It strikes all of you that you have... you've survived a clash with something that is a primordial force of nature. It has been quite the shock.
I can speak that.
But yes, so all of you struggle to comfortably rest, finding yourselves permanently on edge in case anything else should show up and ambush you as you rest. But
That's okay. We have Leomund's tiny hut.
you're casting Leomund's tiny hut, are you?
Wait, before we went to the next resting place.
I don't think so, because wasn't it late by the time all this happened?
Yeah, but we also didn't want to stay in the dragon's territory.
From what I understood from what you said last time, you backed off and left back towards the thing rather than trying to make it across. Or did I
Oh, okay,
misunderstand?
okay, no, that's okay. That's
Yeah,
good. To
like we
know.
backed off back towards Casport.
Ah, okay.
But yes, with still very much on edge, you managed to find a brief respite and take a long rest. Arya, I assume you're the one who will be keeping watch
Yeah.
during this. Can you?
I have to remember how to resummon Lyra as well.
Oh yes, yeah. I think that's just a ritual fee, but I can't remember if it has a component.
It has
cost.
components.
It's I think it's 10 golds worth of herbs and stuff.
Well, it did change with the thing. So, can you do me a favor? Can you roll me an extended perception check whilst I find this
I
out?
can do that.
Nice.
Perception on point.
Okay.
Also, I love the cascade down.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find the. If it loads, there we go. As Path of the Shaman, it doesn't actually cost you anything anymore.
Oh, cool.
So you just have to spend a short rest to resummon it, and in the next 8 hours it returns to you.
Sweet. So I can just do that as part of the long rest, because I only rest 4 hours anyway.
Nice.
So yeah, you rest and observe. And yeah, your watch is it's an unsettling one. As
yeah.
let me bring up my notes. Yeah, so your rest is for the 4 hours that you're meditating, the sounds of local animal life is a lot quieter than you're perhaps used to for this part of the world. And it sets you a little on edge, to the point where when you come out of your trance and begin your preparations to prepare a ritual to bring Lyra back, you are constantly checking over your shoulder to make sure that everything is fine, the dome is still there, and that you're not under attack. And you notice that they're like perhaps maybe a few hundred meters like off in the distance, you can see sort of like packs of animals roaming and patrolling. In a way that is perhaps it's definitely out of their normal animal behaviors. Like you see packs of nocturnal animals like wolves, foxes, badgers that are paying no heed to one another, but sort of patrolling the perimeter of this that you are just beyond. And essentially, it almost feels like you're being observed for the most part. You finish your ritual, and as you complete it, you feel the magic bond that is between you and Lyra is strengthened, and you get the feeling that she's making her way back to you.
Good.
Um,
That will make me feel better.
can you
I imagine it feels like half your soul is missing.
Yeah.
Which is not exactly a great feeling.
Can you give me a nature check as well whilst you're doing this?
My nature, considerably worse for
Okay.
some reason, despite my background.
Because it's intelligence based. Yay!
I know.
So as you complete this ritual and go back to your watch, it is becoming more and more like you are being observed back by everything that you see that's in a certain direction off into the forest. As somebody who is capable of wielding magic that can calm and control animals, these creatures behave in a way almost as if they are perhaps under the dominance of some other being.
It's unfortunately disturbing.
Yes. And considering what you've learned the previous day, you are suspicious, to say the least, that even though perhaps the dragon is not within line of sight, it possibly has ways of knowing where you are.
Great. I guess there's no way to, like, stop that from happening.
Depends what magic you have at your disposal.
I mean, I can talk to animals, but I don't know. I don't think that would be very persuasive.
Well, you also have... You are 14th level now, so you have a particular feat that lets you determine things about it.
There's so many feats.
Yeah. It's the I think I added it to your sheet. The rugged authority. Oh, maybe I didn't.
I definitely did not.
Okay, well, let me add it in then, real quick. Oops. I think we're both trying to edit at the same time.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, come on. Let me select the text. Thank you. But yeah, basically you have the ability to communicate and, to a lesser extent, calm or control animals. Oops.
Oh, can I try that?
Yeah, you can. It just depends whether you want to do this now or when your allies are awake.
I kind of don't want to wait, but I should probably wait. Yeah, I'll wait. I don't really want to fuck with anything right now.
Okay. Cool. So you wait for your comrades to finish resting. The rest of you take a long rest, do your healing, restore 1/2 your hit dice, and everything that you get back on your long rest.
Hit points.
Ah.
Hit points. All my resources. They've returned to me.
Never hurts.
I forgot I literally did not get injured in that fight.
You know what? I'm glad one of us didn't get injured.
Yeah,
you
one of us is happy.
You have got expended hit dice from some previous time that you've not restored your hit dice.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Has the font changed on the sheets and like in Roll20, or
So-
is it just me?
I said this when I logged in. Something has changed about Roll20 and I can't work out what it is. I think the font has changed.
It looks different.
Things look larger.
Yeah, and like more blocky. Like
Yeah.
the lettering looks more blocky for like the plain text.
I have no idea what it is that they've changed, but they've changed something and that looks different.
Wild.
But yes, so you all awake. It is still quite early in the morning as you slept earlier than you would have normally. And yeah, there is a great deal of tension in the air amongst your party. What do you want to do?
Fast.
I'm just gonna get up and act like nothing happened. Start gathering stuff, ready to travel.
Kelariis isn't saying anything, but is keeping like a really close eye on Elizabeth. Just
I'm also going to
Like-
pretend that my chest isn't in ridiculous amounts of pain, which I imagine it still would be.
Sure doesn't feel great.
yeah.
Well, once everyone's up, I'm probably going to inform them about the animals acting weird. I can try to calm them down. Maybe they'll stop following us.
Do you think that would draw more attention though?
I don't know.
Excuse me. I mean, it might be worth the risk of it.
I mean, it's either they know if the dragon knows where we are, or it doesn't. So,
Yeah.
Well, the fact that the dragon is interested in our location at all is kind of concerning.
yeah. I think it sees us as a threat, so it probably wants to keep
should.
an eye on us.
I just realized because we sent a message to the cast port. However, we should probably have them block the road from the other side as well.
Well, I think our whole thing is that we're going through that way, so when we get through there, we let them know. Because I think the only reason we sent a message backwards to
Oh yes.
the other city
However,
that we left.
well, I mean, it's out of character. I slightly thought we ended up on the other side.
Oh, that's fair.
Um,
I mean,
although, yeah, we still do want to get through there. I'm not quite sure how we want to do it though. Because we can't do what we did last time. And well, we failed getting through.
if we go and we don't stop, the only reason we were stopped this time is because we happened to cross paths with him.
That is true. However, if it's watching us, it might. Well, I guess.
If it's watching us, it probably wants us, out of its hair. So as long as it doesn't.
You do not get to speak right now.
God.
Holy shit.
Look, it's fine.
No.
It's valid, but I was just
carry
not
on,
expecting
carry
it.
Yep, no.
Anyway,
Holy shit.
so do we want to figure out these animal situation?
It's probably for the best.
Yes. Well, like if it works, might as well do it.
And I guess it's a
Fine.
good point. We're not going to end off in any worse of a position.
Plus, best case, we might learn something. Not sure what, but
Do you need anything from us to do that, Arya?
I don't think so. Do I, Rob?
To use the ability, no.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I mean, it was more of the, like, do you need us to, like, fucking super keep watch on you or something, but, you know.
Well, I mean, maybe just generally just making sure the perimeter is probably secure while I'm doing it would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Just watch my back.
Of course.
Well, I assume that's going to take some time, right?
I don't know how long it takes, actually.
No, it takes.
Well, like, just due to the fact that there's a bunch of creatures mainly.
You just target a creature as an action, so it takes about 6 seconds for you to get it, but the effects last for an hour.
That's actually like super cool. Well, if we're planning on heading through, which we I guess we don't really have a choice. We have to. We should probably set up some base rules for dealing with dragons.
For dealing with dragons. What? This is off topic, but there's a book called Dealing with Dragons. Just remind me of that. Anyway, continue.
I think I may have heard of that if it's the one I'm thinking
It's
of.
a great book.
I
It's
don't
really
think I've
good.
ever read it.
There's a whole series, actually. Anyway.
This episode of Second Age is not sponsored.
It's not sponsored, but I mean, we'll consider it.
But also,
if they
we're
offered,
nerds.
if
Anyway.
they offered, we wouldn't say no, but it's not.
So you attempting to communicate with the animals.
Yes.
Okay. So the hostile creature needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Beasts are notoriously good at that.
You'd be surprised.
What is your wisdom-based DC, Arya? 8 plus proficiency plus your wisdom modifier.
Well, she casts with wisdom anyway, so.
My wisdom
Yes.
sucks. It's 1. So 14.
So that is.
Oh wait, no.
Yes, 14. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So you, after a brief scan through the bushes, you essentially spot like a group of small, I guess they'd probably be like vole-like creatures. And you, as you kneel down on the ground, like sort of focus your magic and reach out to this creature, with the same sort of bond that you have with Lyra, you extend a fragment of that to this creature, and for a moment there's this brief resistance that you aren't sort of expecting. That if you had to give it a description, you'd say it almost feels cold to the touch. But the magic breaks through, and all of a sudden, you're connected to this creature. You can sort of sense its feelings and its emotions briefly. Yeah, what do you want to do?
I guess, like, I don't know what this would do exactly, but I guess, like, try to sever the connection.
Okay.
I don't know how you would do. I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah, it doesn't give you the ability to do that. Like, you can't shut the dragon out with this level of magic.
Yeah.
But as you reach out, you do feel like there is definitely, because you learn. Hang on, what do you learn? You learn its emotional state, whether it's affected by any magic, and its short-term needs, and any actions you can take to persuade it. So it is definitely under the effects of magic. but it's like no magic you've ever experienced within your experience of natural magic. This is ancient and old. Its emotions are unusual. This creature is hostile to you, or it was hostile to you until you subjected your will onto it.
You will like me.
Well, you placated it with this spell.
Yeah.
But it was hostile to you, but it's not hostile towards you because it's aggressive towards you. It's hostile towards you because it's terrified of whatever's controlling it.
Oh yeah.
So it is simultaneously like sort of aggressive, sort of terrified. And yeah, basically it's essentially you feel like if you were to cross into what it is considering its territory, it would flee for help.
Hmm. Is there any way to like just like stop it from following us?
Not with this ability, no. You would need to do something different. But you are now able to communicate simple ideas and things with it.
Stop! Stop following us!
Stop it. Please.
Stop it!
Or you reach out to it and sort of say, "Stop following me," and it wants to, but whatever is controlling it is preventing it from listening to you.
Can I turn to the others and say like, is there any way you guys can like try to dispel magic on this thing? I don't even know if that would work, but
I don't have that prepped, or I could.
God damn it!
I'm sorry.
Fuck's sake,
Well,
Jayla.
I guess Elizabeth might have something. Elizabeth?
I'm gonna. I mean, Elizabeth will probably just nod, but then just like shrug a little bit.
So what are you doing?
Well, I guess considering you're doing that, are you trying to say that you can do something? Just answer.
I can, but I've no idea how it would affect anything. And if this is a more permanent spell, I have no idea what kind of magic this is, or if it would even just fall straight under the effects again.
Well, that's the kind of thing that you could make a check to try and work out.
Can I do that, please?
Yeah, make me a nature check.
I'm smart.
Okay. So in the Legend of Dragons, there are stories of them being able to control or influence lesser beings, partially using magic, partially using their own charm and guile and general intimidation factor. you could cast dispel magic on these animals. The complications that you can see that you would face is all you would be doing is essentially restoring their free will to them temporarily. If they remain within the area, the effect will take hold on them again after a time. But if this affects these creatures and other creatures in the same way, there's it's entirely possible that everything that you encounter in the forest is under this same spell. At least within the territory of the dragon.
Elizabeth thinks out loud, so that's what is said.
Okay.
So perhaps not worth it, fortunately.
Well,
Probably not.
to be fair, like, what's the harm in trying? Really? Because, like, even though it doesn't sound like it will work, it doesn't sound like it will hurt. You've got plenty of magic to spare.
I mean, even if we can lose them for a little while, it might be helpful.
I mean, I can only even cast it on the one animal. Who knows how many others are just watching us at any point. I mean, unless you want me to cast it for literally every animal we see.
Suppose that's true.
I can't just wave my hand and save and free all of them.
Well, I guess we'll just have to deal with it then.
Like, you
Look,
can't.
I just think
like,
as long as the drag, as we don't look like we're gonna be like knocking on his front door. I don't think he's gonna do anything about it.
your judgment of dragons has not been too great recently, so. But, like, because if we go back walking in, we'll be infringing on his territory. Territory he explicitly told us to stay out of. If he doesn't contest us, then what is his word worth?
I would like to point out, judging what I said earlier, and the fact that there are things around us under this spell, under this magic, we're already in his territory.
Yes, but if we're heading out is different from heading in deeper.
You're on the periphery of the territory. Like these things are maybe a few hundred meters like away from you, and they are holding position on this perimeter. The creatures, the animals.
Oh, there you go then. So we're not in it, and by following the road, we wouldn't go into it.
No,
Yeah, but we're trying.
The road will eventually lead you back into the territory.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's we go through or we go all the way around, and we don't know how far the territory goes.
We currently don't have what it takes to deal with it. I think we're lucky that it decided to give up to begin with. I honestly think we have to go around, come back for it later, and then deal with it later.
Yeah.
Currently, we have nothing to deal with its breath. It's yeah.
Well, I mean, you're the boss.
Now you say that. Seems like yesterday you weren't too inclined to listen to the rest of us. Anyway, we should keep going. We need to get back to Vondal. And maybe that. I guess we can't. I guess we have to go through the territory to get there, though. Is there?
I guess, I don't know, there's probably not any way that I would know this, but is there any way to kind of figure out what sort of reach the dragon's territory might have? Because going around might not even be like a feasible option unless we want to take like
Yeah.
literally 2 weeks of a detour.
I guess that's true. Well, I was considering like I assume the forest is most of its territory.
With as sort of like a logical deduction, a creature this big is going to claim a hunting ground that it reasonably will cover to sustain itself.
So pretty massive.
If it's only just woken up, that it's gonna be big, but it's gonna be smaller than it will be as this thing gets hungrier and begins to run out of resources in the local area. It's going to extend.
But yeah, we don't know. The problem is we don't know the origin point, because if it's like we're near where it starts, so to speak, then like we'll have to go around quite a bit anyway. However, if we were caught on like the edge of its hunting grounds, but yeah. So, what else? I'm like thinking we don't have anything that could repel a dragon by any chance, right?
No, I don't believe so.
No.
Yeah,
We need to go find that dragon that we found way back when. Convince it to be our friend and have it come with us.
Oh.
You haven't met any other dragons.
Shut up, Rob. We totally have.
Wow.
That was absolutely a dragon we met, and no one can convince me otherwise.
If you want to go and find that person, convince them that you are convinced that they are a dragon, and then reveal themselves, and then do that, then you can certainly start.
I think we are perhaps better off locating help that we can definitely for sure guarantee our combat capable and experienced.
I mean, I guess we can get Vondal, maybe. Like, we do have a mercenary guild, but I don't want to like sacrifice meat to the meat grinder.
Yeah. I was like, first of all,
yeah.
second of all, to be quite honest, I feel better having Vondal staying at the keep, because at least there is somebody who is relatively
can
powerful
resurrect us,
and also that.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Also, Vondal wants to do his paperwork, and I feel like we should respect his decision to want to do his paperwork.
Don't get between Vandal and his paperwork.
No, he'll be very cross.
He'll be very cross.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is, we know a lot of other people. Well, we know a handful maybe of people who are also very combat capable.
Yeah. See, the problem is stuff like this dragon. Numbers isn't like, unless you have overwhelming numbers, it's not that much of an advantage, and it will just mean overwhelming loss more than anything.
I mean, you saw how big that massive poison was.
I'm not thinking numbers. I'm thinking of finding people who are capable of fighting. God,
yeah, like
so
fighting
weird to put
strong.
ourselves on a pedestal, but that are good that are on the level that we are, is what I mean. I don't want to just take in numbers.
Based on the stories you guys have told me, no one's been on your level in terms of combat, and you've only gotten stronger since then.
That's not true, actually.
Well,
I'm sure that is not true.
No one except the people trying to kill you.
No, you've met powerful wizards, powerful warriors in their own right,
or who doesn't have other commitments.
Well, sometimes some people make spare time for special situations. Like,
well, let's be fair, we can't even cross obstacle 1 right now, which is getting to them in the first place.
Well, that depends on who we're going for.
I mean, no matter what, we have to make it back to the keep, I think. We need at least time to, at least a day or two to regroup and figure out where we're going, and that should be our first goal, I think.
Yeah. I agree.
When we're wasting time sitting around, it sounds like we want to go around its territory, or at least what we can figure of it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the only plan at this point.
Which,
South, then? Because I imagine the further north we go, it'll be worse.
yeah, because north is the forest, and I imagine, well, there's more food in the forest.
Elizabeth's gonna take out a piece of paper and scribble something on it, put it away again.
Let's just start heading. Let's start heading off the road for a bit, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we can
Okay.
like keep an eye on the animals maybe, and like use them to judge our distance. You know.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest, like, because if they're basically watching the edge of the territory of the dragon's territory, it seems.
and that would
using them as a mark would be our best bet, I guess.
be the best situation. Let's
Okay.
let's start heading
So you set
off
off.
the road.
So, Arya, with your natural navigation, you continue to keeping the border of this newly established territory as far as you can tell. On your left-hand side, you head south. You travel for maybe a day. A day's worth of travel, and there is still no break in the territory. There are still animals pursuing you at keeping a respectable distance, but still sort of like hanging around on the border. And as you continue south, you looming in the distance begins to be a small mountain range that you, from your map, happen to know is basically just to the northwest of the city of Rorke's Gate, were you to keep heading that way. Yeah, you basically get a day's worth of travel about there.
And there's still no break at all.
Still
in
no
it.
break.
Oof. This is where we find out we've chosen the wrong direction, and actually north would have been the better idea.
Yeah, but like green is is forest, right?
Not necessarily. Well, I guess we don't know.
So the
Character.
on the map, basically the big bit that is marked as forest is basically that's the one big expansive elven forest. There are forested plains sort of like dotted in between here and the mountains, which is the bit that you're traveling through at the moment. Considering the dragon and its size, it can probably cover a fairly large territory, but you suspect that given its size, it will either likely roost in the thick forest, where it will be obviously the density of the trees affects its ability to fly. So it will either hold up in the trees or in the mountains somewhere. But it would the further south you go, the sparser the tree cover gets, and the less hunting space a large dragon would have.
Well, like even then, like even if like it would like even for the dragon, like it took us a day to travel at like we travel at like a decent speed to Arya, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think we
Yeah.
get affected by like train and stuff.
Yeah, you are traveling faster than you would normally, and you are also, for the most part, on horseback.
So it might take a while.
I should also point out, about halfway through your day of traveling, Arya, you become aware that you are being pursued. And for a brief while, you are slightly concerned until you see approaching from one angle is a large grey wolf.
Yay! Lyra's back! Oh my god. I'm gonna take a second to just hug my wolf.
Yeah.
Woof.
She deserves pets.
It's true.
But does she want pets?
You sort of like drape your arms around this giant wolf, like as sort of as best you can. It's kind of like
She is huge.
like it with one hand around her chest and one like across her back. You have fairly long arms because you use a longbow. Like you can probably about touch fingertips around her neck.
You just like sink into fur, like
Yeah, I know.
Arya just disappears into fur.
You hug her, and then like as you pull away, she just sort of like leans down to you and just goes.
Lol.
Gross.
Beautiful.
Doggo kisses.
A little
Doggo
chuckle
kisses.
is had there.
Very important doggo kisses.
Lyra's gonna glare at you if you laugh, by the way. She is not forgotten whose fault it was that she died.
Then yeah, that she will instantly shut up.
Okay. So are you continuing south for another day?
Well, like I'm like trying to think because we're probably traveling at what is it? Like yeah, like how much how long like I'm like trying to guess like how long it would take for a dragon to cross the distance.
Fast.
The dragon moving at full pelt moves takes twice the moves at twice your no 4 times your speed.
Woof.
So
Yeah, that tracks.
that is flying.
It would make the most sense that if it was going out hunting, it would choose a space that it can easily fly through, or at least patrol a large section of in a day. You don't want to spend too long looking for food. But then again, it depends what kind of animal it is. 'Cause obviously, some animals can go weeks or even months without eating. So maybe it can just. You know, like a snake will have like a mouse and then be like, right, I'm gonna just sit here for a month.
I don't think dragons quite work that way, but that is a fair point.
Yeah, we don't. Well, what I'm saying is we just don't know how often it needs to eat.
Well,
If
I
we
don't.
assume it needs to eat as often as
But like I don't think
at
that's
least
the
once a day,
problem. Because like actually because the animals they did not have a mental they did have a mental link with the dragon.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
That was not explicitly stated by the dungeon master.
it was.
Okay.
You are unaware if it has a mental link. You are aware that it is affected by magic.
Yes.
Well, in that case.
There is some magic the dragon
Well,
is presumably using that is affecting this animal.
yeah, but like that's what we already know. But what we like perhaps we could ask one of them if it could clarify, or well, I guess it can't really tell us much, can it?
It may also not want to tell us more for fear of however the dragon will react.
Well, you know what, we don't want to risk it right now because we also see on top of the fact that there's a dragon, we're also carrying some precious cargo. So yeah, we do not want to be caught out.
No.
I say, like, we should just keep on going south. We can't afford to get caught out.
Oh, this is gonna be a weird sentence, but I wish I had a magic fork.
A magic fork.
So
Do
he,
you care to clarify?
Not unless anyone asks.
I am asking. That was Kelariis asking.
Oh.
Hmm.
Well, because I could just teleport us there. None of this would have happened in the first place.
That's what happened in the first place if you keep your damn mouth shut. But here we are.
It's not entirely true.
We
But it
didn't know
wouldn't
there was
have
going
been
to be
as
a
bad.
dragon, and to be honest, it's probably better that we know than be caught unawares later. Let's keep going. Or
Yeah.
stop. I'm not sure what time it is.
it's getting late.
Oh, just kidding.
I suggest we take the safe route, even if it takes longer, because, like, if anything were to happen to us, like, us losing the artifacts would be
Yeah.
way worse than, well, us dying.
Both would be pretty bad, but yes.
But yeah, like, one leads to the other. But yes, I guess we'll have to rest for now.
Okay, so you rest. Arya again for the sake of brevity. Your night watch is again the same, where there's a large number of creatures sort of out and about, but it's too quiet for you to be comfortable. And you notice that, like, basically along this perimeter that has been established, the animals are sort of. I think I said wolves before, but perhaps wolves is. I think wolves are a bit too large actually for the description. Things like fox sort of size, like foxes, badgers, large, like medium-sized mammals. Those seem to be the largest creatures that you encounter, and they all seem to be on this one perimeter watching you. And other animals seem to just completely have vacated the area. Yeah, you wake the next morning and presumably continue traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you travel on for a few more hours. Within about 2 or 3 hours, you notice that the animals stop following you.
Well, I guess that means we can start heading, like, start curving towards Ivywood Market.
Yeah.
Okay. So, curving in towards the to run parallel alongside the mountain range. Arya, can you give me a survival check? Okay. So, let me give me some dice. So, with your you've not travelled through this part of the forest before, but using your natural navigation, you manage to avoid the tree line as best you can, so that you can give yourself as much flat riding ground as possible as you come up to the foothills of this mountain range. And you manage to cover good ground in the day day that you have. You estimate that you're about a day's ride from Ivywood Market now, or perhaps a little less if you're lucky.
That would be good.
So, rest again and carry on, or is there something you want to do?
I think carry on, right?
Rest and carry
Yeah.
on, is that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in that case, change that track. With just under another day's worth of travel, you manage to see the city of Ivywood Market with its wooden, short wooden palisade wall rising up before you. You head towards it, and as you do so, you as you break the sort of like the rough hill line and trees and begin to head towards the town, the skies are beginning to grey over, and just as you're about to reach the city walls, basically the God, I can't think of the words. It begins to drizzle. Basically, like the as you're riding towards the city, it's like you begin to you know when you're riding towards it and it's raining. God,
Yes.
Yeah.
English language.
Oh, it's like the wall of
Rob
the
is having a struggle.
Yes.
rain, kind of.
Yes.
coming
Thank you.
up. Yeah, I got you. I'm really familiar with this. It's okay. I got
Yeah.
you.
God, I just
Words are hard.
yeah.
It's okay.
English language.
Brain fart.
Words hard.
Yeah. You essentially ride into a curtain of fine drizzle as you come into the town.
How to England?
How fun.
And yeah, basically as you arrive, you're the first thing that you're aware of is that there is a there always was like a sort of a local guard presence here, but there definitely seems to be more sort of guards standing on the gates as you approach. And at first there's sort of like a concerned expression as the four of you ride up to the gate, only for them to recognize you and sort of they part ranks and sort of like let you into the city or into the town. The city itself, or the town itself, is due to the inclement weather. The streets are somewhat empty. More so than usual. Even it's still sort of like the working week. But everyone here seems to have sort of packed up shop for the day.
Well, I guess what first order of business is probably visit the what's it called, the guard captain or something along those lines.
Yeah. I forget. She had a name, but I don't remember what it was.
Hold on. I might have it. Excuse me while I dig through. Where the hell is my notebook?
Brief interlude as two of us dig through notes in order
Yeah.
to try and find
Well,
some person's name.
It
Who we
doesn't
may not even have asked.
It doesn't matter because as you approach, she is there. You already have an acquaintance with her, Grim, so
Oh, yeah.
getting an audience with her is not difficult. She approaches you sort of fairly. She looks like she hasn't slept very well recently. But yeah, she basically beckons you to come inside into her small like corner room that serves as an office. And she says, "Well, so, Amber Eagle, what's the news?"
Well, looks like you've been having issues here, and I'm afraid we might be the bearers of more bad news. We were heading back from where would what's the I forget the name.
Casport.
Passport.
Casport, that's the one. And on our way back, we ran into a beast that we could only describe as a dragon. And it has it made clear that it has claimed its land between here and Casport in the forest.
Well, that already makes a lot more sense.
We've not been able. We weren't able to deal with it. We were able to, well, hold it off, I guess would be the best way of putting it, at a fairly high cost. However, we have not quite been able to deal with it. We thought it would be important for, well, considering people pass through here, if you could warn them that, well,
We're
not to go.
already a step ahead of you. Vondal has... Well, he did his best to try and explain, but he didn't mention a dragon specifically. He just said that there were dangers on the road and that we should hold things off, and I wish we'd listened a little sooner than we did.
Did something happen?
We may have... Well... 2 merchant caravans had already departed by the time that we got the news, and... Well... 1 individual made it back in very poor shape, and unfortunately died of his injuries. So...
That is most unfortunate. However, now that we are aware of the situation, we can start, well, planning a solution of some kind. We haven't quite figured out what we're going to do, considering we were coming back from quite the trip of our own. But I guess we'll keep you informed if there's any updates.
That would be appreciated, I'm sure. I'm really not sure what to make of, well... How exactly do you plan to take on a dragon? I mean, I've only ever heard of the myths and stories, and those things are supposed to have been able to take on armies.
That is true, and that's why we have not. That's why we've decided to fall back and, well, regroup, so to speak. Because everything has a weakness. Plus, we have a habit of making the impossible possible. So,
Wow.
I mean,
I've ever heard Grim say about us.
I know.
I know you guys have had some pretty exceptional stories to tell, but just be careful, I guess. I don't really know how to warn you against something I've never encountered.
We're well aware that this dragon poses a significant threat.
The sentiment is appreciated.
yes.
Can't speak words.
As a side note, because I'm certain this is gonna hurt Ivywood Market to some degree, considering it was quite an important stop along the way.
Yeah, we've only lost our most significant trade route through the west.
Well, if I'm not sure what we could, we're not quite sure yet what we can do, but if you have any suggestions as to how to help out in that regard, the Amber Eagle is willing to assist.
That's appreciated. Right now I'm trying to see if I can maybe get some political leverage in somewhere. I mean, it's not just going to be this town that hurts, it's going to be everybody that imports anything west of here, so maybe if it hurts enough people's pockets, then somebody's going to start paying attention and maybe start putting together an army. I mean, we don't exactly have a king anymore. It's who we would even organize something this grand a scale. I don't. But yes, no, sorry, forgive me. I'm getting ahead of myself.
If you need our mercenaries, we'll cover the cost because it's due to extraordinary circumstances and all that. Yes. So
that's mighty generous of you. Not to jump on it straight away, but we could use some extra security details. I mean, I'm not concerned in the immediate future about the town being attacked by a dragon, but I am concerned that there may be people who take this new threat a bit too far. People have a tendency to panic, you know.
Yes. Right. Well, I kind of had a hunch that things might be a little, go a little crazy, but we'll as soon it might take maybe a day or two, and then I'll have things in order, and I'll send someone I'll send a group over that will help out.
We're trying to keep things on the down low, but if any of this gets out into the general populace, then yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at some form of civil unrest. Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Well, I believe that concludes our business. I don't know if there's anything else you need or wanted to talk about.
That's it from me. Send my appreciations to Vondal. We may have lost some people, but I think his warning came just in time to save a few dozen more.
Will do. Well, yes, stay strong in these rough times, and let's hope we figure out a solution soon.
Yes, and stay safe yourselves.
We will. Goodbye.
Okay. You vacate.
Well, I guess Fondal and everyone else might be glad of having a little something else to do, other than training and paperwork.
Yep. Well, they guess the rookies occasionally had stuff to do, but yeah, this will be their first proper task.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not sure how we're gonna inform them, but I guess we'll leave them.
Well, I mean, this is the kind of thing that Fondal will have dealt with all the goddamn time, right?
I feel like it's still a little bit unique, but we'll get to that once we get back. We'll hear from Vondal. Did any of you need to do anything in town?
I don't think anything in town.
Well, everywhere looks like it's closing anyway, so.
Well, I guess in that case, we'll head back.
Okay, so you're heading to the Amber Eagle stronghold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Perhaps we should find a better name for it at some point.
We'll get there one day.
Well, that sounds like not my job.
No.
You know what? Fair.
Oh.
Surely it's the Amber Eagle Keep, or just like the Eagle's Hold or whatever. I don't know.
Okay, but you see, if you're gonna let Grim name it, it's gonna have a lot more names than that.
That's
It's
yeah.
like the Amber Eagle is already a shortening of what it's supposed to be.
Wait, what is it supposed to be?
I have it somewhere here. Grand Amber Eagle Guild of Tactical Solutions and Interventions. Yeah, and that's it.
Holy shit.
Does Grim have to have an unnecessary amount of names for everything?
Well, to be fair, this one is actually it's a very descriptive name in this
Yeah.
case.
I suppose.
They could be an extra.
And it's
You
like
make
I
it
was
sound
trying.
like an insurance company, though.
You know. In some ways, mercenary companies are insurance companies, but in a different way.
Yeah.
I guess.
It depends on how you hire them.
It's not wrong.
I guess. Yeah, okay, you've got me there.
Anyways, if you really
Yeah.
wanted to fit with like the eagle theming, something with roost in it, it's
Oh, yeah.
technically in line.
There you go. The Amber Eagles, the Eagle's Roost, the Amber Roost.
Yeah, like that sounds fine.
The roost.
You can always we don't have to make
Yeah.
it definitive.
The roost.
The Amber Roost.
Anyways,
Well, for a roost, it does look remarkably like a large number of sticks at top of a hill.
Yeah.
wow,
Also,
Can't believe you do this to
Wow.
us.
that's mildly insulting.
also, if you call it the Amber Roost, you can have
Everybody.
we'll be able to when we get really flashy with it, you can have lots of amber colored decorations, and people will be able to be like, "Whoa, have you ever seen the Amber Roost? It really looks like a big amber." I don't know.
It looks like a big amber.
You know what I
Honestly,
mean?
Anyway.
Just a raw chunk of amber.
It's just
gonna-
a big chunk of amber. That's what it looks like.
Just gonna paint
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
This is awful.
Maybe,
is
I mean,
fine.
we should just
whatever.
build a motherfucking castle. That's what we should build.
True.
God.
Because that would be dope.
One
That
day.
would
We do have a lot of money now.
Long-term goals.
as much. Even
We do
though
have a lot of money now.
that would be something I at least would be interested in. I feel like the time investment is a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to
I don't think we've got time right now.
we don't have to build it ourselves. We can hire people.
That's true. However, I kind of feel like we're in our place is under threat currently.
As you
Yeah.
are having this
What does that
conversation
make you
going
say?
up the hill through the rain, the sky is very quickly sort of turning dark, both from the clouds and the fact that it's basically the middle of winter. But you arrive in the courtyard of the Amber Eagle stronghold.
I guess I forgot we're a little further south than I'm used to. I just want some snow.
My internet's dying. Please send help.
Oh no.
No.
Robot.
Hello.
Yeah, there is distinctly less snow than you're used to, Elizabeth. Although it is surprisingly warm for this time of year, even for here.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Global warming.
What?
But
What?
we don't even have any machines.
There is no industrialization. We haven't even...
Oh, actually, I know it's all, we've burned too much
Oh,
coal and
magic.
wood.
Ah, shit. We've cut down too many trees.
I mean, that
Is that
definitely
what
is a
I heard?
cause.
Global
Anyway.
warming? Is that really what I returned on?
Yeah. Can I make
Wow, that's too depressing.
out of
This is fine.
out of slight sadness for the lack of snow? Can I make a minor illusion of a snowman, just in the middle of the courtyard?
Sure, it's gonna yeah. It's gonna look a bit
Arya's
weird.
just gonna like
It's
roll
also
her
dark.
I just want a small snowman,
Okay.
small little snowman, because I can only make an illusion that fits in a 5-foot cube.
You minor illusion a small 5-foot
I
snowman.
want a 5-foot tall snowman in the middle of the courtyard.
Hmm.
It lasts for a minute.
Okay.
Well,
What are the rest of you doing?
I will. Before Elizabeth heads off too far, I will say,
I'm only in the courtyard.
we are gonna have a, let's call it a debriefing. Tomorrow morning.
Wow.
That's one way to put it.
You can just call it what it is and say you want to shout at me for a bit.
Well, I feel like you're not like you were the most extreme example, but I think like all of us at some point may have done things that may not have been the smartest. But yes. Well, for now, should check in with Vildal and probably tell the others we're alive. Shoot.
Okay.
Yes. Oh yeah. We're also gonna have to actually make a decision as to what to do with the crown.
Oh right. Well, didn't we want to talk to Vondal and stuff about that as well?
Yes.
Get another opinion on it. Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, I forgot we had other things to deal with, and then a dragon showed up.
Yeah, like that's.
Then a dragon shit.
See, if we didn't have that thing on us, I would have been like, okay, we can like try and deal with that problem right away. But we had other responsibilities right now.
Guess.
But yes.
Look, maybe we should talk to them.
Talk to who?
The only people who want to talk to us right now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The evil people?
Oh no.
Are you guys still standing outside in the drizzle having this conversation?
Oh, well, I
I
guess
mean,
we
yeah,
can-
Elizabeth adjusting her illusion snowman.
What the fuck is that?
It's a snowman that's an illusion because there's no actual snow.
No. God. Sorry. I need to get back into my actual voice that I use for Kelariis because it's been a hot second. What the fuck is that?
It's well, what this?
Yeah.
It's a snowman, but there's no snow, so it's not real.
I look at Arya with an expression that says, "What the fuck?"
And I look at Kelariis with an expression that says, she hasn't learned shit.
Wow.
Alright!
Look, it's just when it snows, you can it's this you remember the snow stuff? Like it sticks on the ground and you can get a nice thick layer of it and you can roll it into balls, and sometimes you make small ones handheld that you throw at each other for a bit of fun, or sometimes you roll them into bigger ones, then you put a slightly smaller one on top of that and you make it look like a person.
Anyway, we have far more pressing concerns than childish games right now. Shall we go talk to Vondal?
I will throw an illusion snowball at Arya.
If she throws an illusion snowball at me, I'm gonna take her by the neck and be like, "Don't fucking do that," because
It
I'm
doesn't
not
do
putting up
anything.
with this shit.
It's an
I don't
illusion.
care.
You can't fucking do
Yeah,
shit.
calm down, guys. Calm down.
Arya. Come on, let's
You
go.
almost got us killed. You did get Lyra killed, and you almost got yourself killed. So, I need you to stop being a child and realize that your actions have consequences. And then I'm gonna walk
That's-
off because I'm pissed.
As you walk into the building, coming out of the room is Vondal, just sort of like. Obviously, the shouting has drawn some kind of attention.
Yeah, that
I'm
makes
gonna
sense.
go in after Arya to. Yeah.
just wanted to lighten the
I'll
mood a
back.
little bit.
I'll also go in, but beckon Elizabeth to follow, just in case.
Yeah.
Whoever just cracked their knuckles, that was the most intimidating thing to hear over
Sorry,
the
that
fucking
was
mic.
me.
Oh my god, that was Luka as well!
I know, that was fucking perfect.
Oh my god. I'm not trying to be intimidating.
Actually,
I'm trying...
Yeah, actually, Arya, as she walks through the door,
cracking
just
knuckles.
crack.
Crack,
Vondal's
crack.
like, Vondal
Yeah.
in a modern AU just like sits there going, "Who's got your knickers in a twist?"
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I will dismiss my illusion snowman and follow them in.
Okay. So Arya, as you walk in, like sort of like crack as you crack your knuckles as you walk in through the door,
It's canon now.
Vondal comes out through the door, and Vondal, unlike his usual regular self, is a shocking sight to you, as the normally immaculate plaiting in his beard looks to have been picked to pieces.
Oh, God.
Oh goodness.
If it weren't for his stoic expression, you'd say the man has been fretting.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that sounds like Vondal.
But yeah, he comes out of the room, beard in a dishevelled mess, and sort of sees you and sort of says, "So you're back. Good. I'm very glad you're alive."
And his beard's probably still
Same.
not as messy as Elizabeth's hair.
Are you doing alright?
Well, we're yeah, we're doing fine. I've tried not to get everyone worried about what's happening, but people are asking questions.
Yes, well, I'm afraid we have a rather nasty run-in with a dragon.
As you say that, Vondal like holds up a hand as if to stop you, and there is kind of like there is a sharp intake of breath as you turn to your right, and there are two people standing in the training room listening to this loud conversation being had.
Well,
Oh, whoops.
look, it's the Sierra and some other person. It's fine.
Wow,
Some
I can't
other
believe-
person. I
Wow.
can't believe you forgot Sadani.
Their name
Oh.
is even underneath their token.
I can't
I-
see Sidani.
Yeah, I can't see Sadani.
Oh,
can you not?
okay.
No,
Oh,
I can only see
no.
Sierra's.
I can't see anything?
Oh.
That sounds like a
See
personal
a
problem.
very blank page is what I can see.
No!
Oh.
Oh no!
Oh,
Maybe you
I feel like
should
that's-
reload,
I'm gonna
Jayla.
press it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's fine.
I think it might
I
be
didn't
because
even
you
realize
had
that there was stuff on the screen until you guys were like, there's some people. It's like, there's what? Ah, here we are.
Oh yeah, you can't see Sadani's name. There we go.
Now I can.
There we go.
Fixed.
Woo! Sadani!
Just as I refreshed it, now I still can't see her name, but it's fine. I know the names, it's
Okay.
It's fine.
So, yeah, Sadani sort of like looks a little bit surprised, and then Tallithsyr just sort of like standing there, like, huh, like sort of not quite sure what to make of it. And Vondal just sort of like lowers the hand and goes, "I was trying not to mention that to people."
Yeah,
probably
'cause
the best
that's-
choice.
Also, Lyra's not big enough.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
she needs to be
it's-
heard.
Lyra's
it's
not
fine.
fucking massive right now.
Somebody hasn't found me a good new artwork yet.
Oh yeah,
Oh, damn,
shit, I
shots
forgot
fired.
about doing that. Sorry.
Sick burn.
I'll definitely have to
What?
find a better token for
Big
her.
woof. Big woof.
Big
We need a
wolf.
bigger woof. The biggest woof you can find.
Yeah.
Good
So-
for hugs. Good for bite. Good for
Elizabeth's just gonna sort of peek around the corner and just say, well, at least it's them and not anybody else.
Yeah, they're fine.
Also, hi guys.
I mean, to be fair, Vondal, they were bound to know anyway.
They end up knowing about everything anyway, so...
Just, I don't want to worry everyone else. I mean,
Understandable. Well,
they've already
That's
been
it.
through. They've been through a lot. And they know about our adventures, but I'm just concerned that the D word is gonna make some people
The D word.
concerned.
How do you think it made us feel?
We're fine.
Speak for yourself.
However, before I forget to tell this, I did offer I did offer the local guard to some support during these times.
Well,
So I did,
you've beat me to the punch. Then I was going to ask about that.
yes. Again, we'll cover all the expenses. However,
Vondal
That's-
blinks for a second and goes, "Okay."
I believe the gist of it was peacekeeping.
yes. But
Ah.
considering we didn't want, considering there's some well, I guess sensitive matters to discuss, shall we head up?
I think that might be the best thing to do. Vondal sort of turns to Sidani and Tallithsyr and indicates the two of them and says, "You two, not a word of this, and try and keep the others busy, but you know the drill." Sidani sort of like suddenly catches the fact that she's like sort of still standing there, sort of like sort of half jaw open, and just sort of like, "Right, yes, sure thing, boss." Salutes. And turns towards there and says, "Let's pick this up later." And yeah, the 5 of you head upstairs.
Well, I guess before we head upstairs and after Fondal says that, so we'll inform you a little more after. Like just to Sidani and Sarah.
Yeah, they nod and
Can I sort of like drop back and just like trying to seem more friendly, just like whisper in Infernal to Sidani, just like, "So how are you holding up while we were gone?" Just trying to seem vaguely normal.
sort of in the way that like the fact that you're talking to her in this language is just sort of like just gives you sort of an awkward thumbs up and then sort of like points to the door and leaves.
Try to be nice. Poor Sidani.
Honestly, I always feel like when somebody just suddenly starts speaking to you in like their native language, even though you usually speak common to them, feels a little odd.
Yep, that
Yeah.
was exactly what just happened there.
Yeah.
Look, I just
It's
It
fine.
just feels like, like when you like take one class of Spanish in high school and then
Yep.
and then you go to a Mexican restaurant and you try
I-
to speak to them in Spanish.
I
That's what that
would like
feels
to point out it's not like that at all because Elizabeth studied all of these languages in
I
great
mean,
detail.
Yeah, but like you don't speak to them in that language
Yeah.
normally.
But it always feels like an invasion of your privacy because it's like that language was fine,
True.
but it's fine.
I don't think they care that much. It's probably just like, what?
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, it was just awkward, and she was in the middle of
Yeah.
something, so she was just sort of like, "What? Yeah, I'm fine. Goodbye."
This is fine. Oh well.
I love that this is
Well.
how people stress is by doing shit that's like awkward and weird.
Yeah.
This is fine. I guess. I'll just. I guess first things first, because there's one thing that probably takes priority over all of this, and I'll like grab like a cloth or something to wrap my hand in, and grab the crown from the bag
Okay.
of holding, and put it on the table.
Okay. Yeah, Vondal sort of steeples his fingers and rests his chin on them.
Just to be safe, don't touch it. We haven't tried that yet.
I've been there before.
Yeah, we have no idea what to do with this thing now that we've got it.
It's, well, for obvious reasons, we can't leave it here with you. Because, well, like the thing guarding it was a fully automated mechanical fortress, and that was basically getting broken by a siege.
Yeah, fully automated, mostly self-sustaining fortress of
But yeah,
magical automatons.
it's safe to say that our humble abode is no match.
Honestly, I think 2 rooms, that one room where we got it from is bigger than this whole place.
Well, don't be that harsh, but yeah, it is. Yeah, but yeah, this was
Vondal just sort of just has been staring at the crown this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, noticing that, Elizabeth will tell him what it is and explain what we know it does, so that he's up to speed. And then she'd probably follow that up by just saying, and for obvious reasons, we don't want to give it to the Cabal, because we literally went and got that specifically to keep it out of their hands.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
But the downside is we don't know where to put it to keep it safe.
You know, there's this funny feeling I can't shake, and you know what, I'm just going to say it to the room. It's so much smaller than I was expecting.
Okay.
I mean, does it look like it'd fit on a human's head?
It does, yes.
Yeah, in that case, I was just going to be like, I'm not sure I follow then.
Well, you know, great power comes in small packages. I like it. Like, because it's chest forward.
I don't know. Maybe it's. You think of deities, you think of. Well, I guess, like, big people in the stained glass windows. I was kind of expecting it to be god-sized, I guess.
Could a god not be whatever size they want to be?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Besides, it'd be a bit odd if gods were that big all the time.
Well, I think, like, it seems more like this is the kind of thing a god would bestow on their trusted, well, their champion, so to speak.
That too.
If I might be mistaken, but I don't believe gods tend to, well, do things in person if they can avoid it.
Vondal just sort of looks at Kelariis and goes, just shrugs.
I mean, I guess it depends on the god, but I mean, the history of religion was very much not something I looked into that much to know if they tend to, interfere person.
Well, a long time ago they were very,
Very active.
very active. It was kind of the big deal of the time. Anyway, I had a point with the whole size thing. Something like this strikes me as the best way to keep it safe would be to hide it somewhere that only one of us has the access to.
But that does put that one person in a lot of trouble.
That does. I don't think that would be fine, because that, like, regardless of how we do it, that's always going to be the case. At least one of us will be in danger.
Well,
however, the issue is creating a mechanism that will allow for that. Plus, we may have. Yeah, because we have
Here's my thought.
yeah.
I mean, we've seen magically protected vaults and all that sort of thing, and we've seen how, well, vulnerable they can be to manipulative influence, and if what you've told me about these Cabal is up to scratch, I would be highly concerned about any sort of anything that had a component of physical or humanoid safety to it. So I've been doing some investigating, I guess you would call it. And it's mostly just reading mythology, but there's supposedly ways to secure things, hide things in places that other people just can't get to. The idea came from, you remember when we went to that pocket plane?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
one set up by yeah.
Are you suggesting we make our own pocket dimension?
I don't know. I don't even know how you'd begin to go about doing that. I mean, it must be possible. People have done it.
Well, what I'd like, it should be doable. Well, like we recently, we haven't even told you about that part yet.
I mean,
'Cause we went the whole step beyond the pocket plane into multi-dimensional astral pockets.
travel.
It was insane. I guess. But I would suggest that I would agree that like a pocket dimension would be good. I suggest we do add a second step if possible to this process, which would be some kind of lock that requires like, I don't know if it's arcane or what we're gonna do. That requires 4 or 5 pieces, and then we each carry a piece on us.
It's not a bad idea.
Because
The only problem with that is that most of us travel together, majority of the time.
yes, but if a single person carries it, then the single person can get pickpocketed or something along those lines,
Or captured.
or captured. Capturing all 5 of us in one go is a lot trickier. Or, yeah, 4.
And I would like to point out, with the right spell, creating a pocket plane or something similar to that is very much within the regions of something I reckon I could do.
Hmm.
If we had the right spell.
That's unfortunately where I come a little undone. I'm not that practiced.
I can think of a spell that would be applicable here, but it's not cheap. Though I suppose
Well,
we have come into quite a lot of wealth recently.
let's spit it out. What is it?
If I had the spell Sequester, I could hide away the object until specific criteria was met. The spell would either last until I chose to cancel the spell, or until a set criteria would. Until then, whatever it is, the crown in this case, would be stuck essentially. Nothing would be able to sense it from outside, and
You know how to cast this?
no, I just know of it. It's powerful magic, but
It sounds like the kind of thing we need.
I think I could cast it.
There's one big issue with this. This would make you a massive weak point. What? Not to be sound rude, but what would happen if you passed away? Would the only way to bring it back be the would the spell end? Would you need to would the requirements be the only way, or what would happen?
I imagine you'd need to meet the requirements.
Well, if I don't, yeah. Well, I could. The conditions could be pretty much anything, really.
Well, it's not so much. I was just making sure that
Like I could just choose a time period and say it'll be released after however long.
no, see, that's not the issue I'm thinking of. The issue is does your I'm just asking you, does the spell get undone if you pass away? Because otherwise,
I don't think so.
As from a game GM point of view, I don't believe it's not a concentration spell, so it just happens.
Yeah. So yeah, well, this is Elizabeth just going like, I don't think so.
because otherwise,
I highly doubt it, because otherwise it'd be completely pointless.
Well, there's
You can specify meeting a specific condition, because it's meet the condition or until it's dispelled. So
there's been talk of wizards using that sort of thing to hide things away for years. It's
millennia.
well, I'm gonna go ahead and gamble that they didn't live for millennia.
Exactly.
That would be an upside.
If I wanted to, I could, with this spell, in theory, with the required components, I could choose to just have this thing sealed away for 1,000 years, and after 1,000 years, it would reappear in that very spot.
I would be careful doing something like that, because
I know. Well, I wouldn't specify in 1,000 years. I'd just cast the spell on it.
I don't think any of us here are going to live for 1,000 years.
Yeah, I can set a condition.
Well,
I don't believe I have to.
To be fair, if it happened to be lost forever, would that be such a bad thing?
It would be completely invisible and untargetable by any kind of divination magic.
Unfortunately, I don't think that means necessarily unattainable.
No, I don't know about that either. But
so okay, in order to make this safe, I would suggest that we're gonna have to separate the knowledge about this artifact to some degree. If we can get our hands on this sequester spell, what we will have to do is, whilst I would suggest that whilst you are unconscious, we transport you to a location so you can cast the spell in that location. That way, even if they somehow capture you and force you to cancel the spell, you wouldn't be able to
tell them where it is.
Yes, and that would leave us still at least with a 2-part security. And that's assuming that we don't also put it in a chest.
That would work.
That would still leave us with some issues, but yes, that would be I don't know if you have any solutions or potentially even locations in mind, which for obvious reasons you shouldn't share where, because otherwise this plan for your location instantly is off the list.
I have a handful of ideas, but
actually,
because I mean, the only other idea I had would be finding somewhere that has high security of magical artifacts anyway. And my only thought for that, based on what little I know of the world and from what you guys have told me, would be the college up in Argentellaband.
As tempting as that is, I don't think that will be. I don't think that will suffice. The artifact that we dropped off last time is dangerous, but I don't think it measures up to what this is.
Not by a long
Considering-
shot.
People will
Considering
raise
we just got rid-
armies.
Well, yeah, considering as well, A, the power that thing has on its own, and B, the power that thing has with just 2 other artifacts.
But like,
Yeah.
the point is more, yeah, like people will raise armies and go to war over this. Like, if the Cabal won't be able to get it quietly, I'm sure they'll find a way to force a war or something along those lines. May not be between them and the elves, but I'm sure they'll figure something out.
I mean, all the Cabal would have to do is release knowledge of this thing to some greedy warlord somewhere in the world. That'd be enough.
Not even that, just tell anyone in the human kingdoms. The rumor would spread so quickly that fear alone would be enough to drive them to act.
Well, it's certainly the beginnings of a plan.
But in order for this to work, step one is going to be get our hands on that. Or teach you how to cast that spell. So if you don't know that, we ain't going to get far.
And then we need several thousand golds worth of components.
Fortunately, that is something we can probably recover. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we can get because we're kind
That's-
of locked to this side of the.
That's probably the easier part of this equation. The only problem is as well, I'm not sure where I'd attain what I'd need to learn this spell. It's it's not exactly something they'd cover in beginner lessons.
No, but that library we spoke of, they may not be able to store that artifact for us. However, if we play our cards right, maybe they can teach you a thing or two.
I may be able to help in that matter, in fact. Well, I think between V and myself, we can come up with something. I know V has been in contact with Lady Elenia over these last few months. If anyone's going to have access to that sort of magic, then she'll know who it is. Because right now, I think dealing with this dragon is perhaps our most immediate concern. It's far too close for comfort, and it's going to cause a lot more imminent damage. That doesn't mean we should ignore the threat that the crown poses, but
Yeah.
it's something V and I could handle while you look for a more practical solution.
Yes. Well, I just wanted to get the things that we have are somewhat easier to plan out of the way first.
Yes.
The dragon is yeah, it's going to be a whole problem of its own. But yeah, so you'll work on getting that getting the scroll or knowledge or something.
I will ask some questions.
Till then, we'll have to risk holding on to it.
We've been doing it for this long.
Yeah, which is not long. But yes.
I mean, if it makes you feel any safer, I could always try and do the same thing I did for Kelariis when shortly after that creepy assassin. I could do that for you.
What do you mean? Oh,
Just set an alarm.
the alarm.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like alarm should be in our daily routine at this point.
Probably.
I agree with that.
All right.
Oh.
Well, it's late.
Well, can we talk about one of our more fun discoveries?
Sure, make it brief.
We recovered so many books from Latherman's personal library. I don't know if they'll be useful because we had to kind of grab them in a hurry, but we got a lot.
That I don't.
Recovered first age knowledge.
Okay, that's a little clearer.
Latherman. Surely you know of the Council of Eight, the great wizards, like Mordekainen.
That's a name that rings a bell.
Basically, the 8 most powerful wizards of the First Age. Basically, the creators of the schools of magic as we kind of know them, almost. I mean, that's probably a bit much. Regardless, super powerful First Age wizard was kind of had that whole island basically given to him, and now we have a load of his research notes.
Okay.
Oh.
Because he was the one who built the fortress we went into, which was entirely filled by magical automaton that basically sustained themselves.
Before we forget, I should because you just reminded me of something important. 2 things. First off, we should probably leave some gold behind in order to, if we're gonna, because if we're gonna be covering the costs of these mercenaries, you're gonna need some extra gold.
Yeah, I was gonna.
2, we're gonna need new diamonds.
Yeah.
Oh.
The way that hit.
Yes.
Elizabeth suddenly probably looks very nervous and starts rubbing her arm. Like, oh.
To be fair, it is. I do still have enough to cast a spell once more, but having
We should
extra.
probably better be safe than sorry.
That's
Yes.
one hell of a way of saying somebody died on the way here.
Yes. Well, it's well, we're gonna talk about it tomorrow. Like well, you weren't there when we arrived, but
I heard something.
well, you can join us tomorrow, or you can.
I think that might be wise.
And then we'll go in. We're gonna evaluate our.
The fact that Vondal probably thinks it's me.
Right.
Also, Graham, speaking of gold, could I have 2 gold so I can summon Scarlet again tomorrow?
I'm surprised that you.
I need to buy the components.
Like, oh, I guess we might as. Well, I guess we might as well just hand out so refill everyone's pockets for now.
I would have done it sooner, but I forgot while we were in Castport, and then I didn't have enough money anyway.
Okay, shall we just give everyone 100? Like on top of what they currently have.
Okay.
That works.
Like then, like you've got your 2 gold, and then we don't, and it's also very convenient because that puts us at exactly 5,000 gold from the gold pieces we looted.
Well, there you go.
That's a lot of gold.
That is a shit ton of gold.
It is. That is.
Yeah, but that's
And that's not even the platinum that we have.
no, that's ignoring the platinum,
Oh.
ignoring all our other items, and ignoring our party funds, which I should probably actually at some point convert everything into the party funds.
I don't mean to be the downer on this, but is there some that can go towards maybe paying a couple of bills?
Yes,
Absolutely.
that's like I said earlier. So we're gonna be able to pay off our debt. You're probably
For the month, or
or well, just the entire debt.
Completely.
And on top
Oh,
of that, we'll be able
okay
to.
then.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
came across a lot of money.
Oh,
I mean, how many platinum coins was it?
yeah, and then reminds me, I still have the head on me.
Oh,
I kind of forgot to throw
Please
that
don't
away.
get.
Oh, yeah, the head.
Please don't get the head out.
Vondal does that gif of Nathan Fillion where he's like,
Long story
Same,
short.
buddy.
Latherman's fiance had turned into a demonic servant who had snake hair and was kind of turning us to stone and had an army of mushroom people.
I had some plans for the head, but it didn't work out.
Don't ask. I didn't question it. It's just Grim being Grim.
Like, I was gonna bring it as proof that we saved, like that we cleared the isle. However, there is not much isle left.
Yeah. There was a volcano explosion.
What
Yeah.
did you do?
For the record,
it's
the
so
volcano
much.
was not directly us.
It's a really long story, which I would be happy to explain if you've got time.
Yeah, well, like I said,
Not
we're
now,
gonna
I get
go
the
through it all
feeling.
tomorrow. Well, like,
Yeah, well, let me put it this way: we were there for several days, and I don't think there was a single hour which I will ever forget, and I forget everything.
Okay.
but yes. So I will. Well, we'll deal. I'll go and pay off the rest of our debts tomorrow, and then I will leave you here. I think we should have a decent amount of gold stocked because, what did we say, 1,000? Then that will allow you to, pay for any emergency pretty much.
Yeah, I should think that would cover it.
Like, it's not like we're throwing away gold. Like, worst case, we have to just borrow some from our own keep.
I'm starting to worry that. You know what? It's fine.
What are you worried about?
That we need
That all of
something-
this money is starting to make you lose a grip on the value of how much things are worth.
Yes, it might. However, I also know that, like,
What, you think buying a castle's unreasonable?
God.
I mean,
Oh.
Usually
technically that's exactly
Castles are
what you guys
paid for by kingdom's taxes. You
That's
don't just
true.
buy a castle.
We don't really need a castle right now either.
no.
It's
Well,
for the team.
we
Also,
We
wouldn't it worry like everyone around us that suddenly there's a castle in Ivywood Market
It's
that
fine.
no one
It's-
knows about?
I don't think that's something that we need to discuss now anyways.
It
No,
most
however-
certainly is not.
We've already got too
That
much
said-
on our plates. Let's not add more to it.
a vault might not be a bad investment at some point.
No.
I'll put it on the list.
How long is that list now?
Oh, that reminds me actually. Yeah, Grim, let's have a word in private after this.
Oh yes, of course. Well, I guess we'll reconvene tomorrow morning. And then I'll follow.
Okay, so you all are dismissed.
But you can do whatever you want, of course. But yeah.
But yeah, as everyone sort of departs, Vondar leans into you, Grim, and sort of says, I almost forgot in the havoc that was everything. We have a guest.
Guest. Would you be able to tell me more about this guest?
Well, I was kind of hoping to find out more from you, actually. Apparently, you offered her a job?
Oh, I'm surprised that
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised that she already made it. Yes. She is a very talented cartographer. I will
I
admit
gathered
it
that
is-
much. It's
Um,
not the only thing
her-
she's good at.
No, definitely not. Although
Uh,
actually we didn't get to see too many of her other skills. She had good analytical thinking, but
well, I've had her coming up with some. This place is great. I just want to put this out there, but it's small and efficient. Sometimes too small.
yes.
I've been looking at how we can optimize the space, and getting nowhere. Tiff, on the other hand, has revolutionized how we organize everything and is already looking at some plans to potentially expand to a couple more buildings outside of the walls. That was my original plan until I found out that actually perhaps we can afford a little more. Maybe I'll ask her to look at the plans again. Anyway, the point of that is moot for now. The thing I needed to tell you before you go anywhere else is I kind of put her up in your room.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't consider bed space. I don't know how much room there. Do we have any empty rooms in the bunks?
Not at the moment. We are full to bursting.
Seems
That's
a
why
little
we
odd.
should build a castle.
No, please.
Shut
Oh,
up.
our guest best room is full. Let's build a castle to fix.
Let's
build
build
a
a
whole
motherfucking
other
castle.
No in between
Castle.
steps. It's just straight to
Huh.
castle.
Straight to castle.
Yeah,
Well-
Von also
Boom,
says,
boom.
Mhm.
if you're alright with it,
Fine.
I'll give up my room for the evening and I'll sleep in the office. So
It's fine. I actually I'll just see if I can arrange something with the others, or we can perhaps share a bed. We'll figure something out.
just
But
don't ask that to the guest
ask what?
if you can share.
Oh no, don't worry.
Good,
No,
because I was
was
worried for a minute there.
No, I felt like the others have bunked up together before, and I know Arya
Yeah.
doesn't really, use her bed in
Don't
the same way.
Yeah.
So maybe she could. Maybe she.
Do you think Arya is the best person for you to ask this to?
Well, see.
I mean, I
what I'm
really
gonna-
don't use a
What
bed.
I'm thinking about is, like, she has very minimal needs. For perhaps she like enjoy some other spots. I don't know. I was not thinking of sharing me sharing a room with Arya. I don't think that would
Right. Okay.
go as well. If
Yeah.
anything, I was considering asking 2 people if they wanted to share. In that, if you catch my drift, I don't know, like Elizabeth and Kelariis seem to be getting along fine, although maybe not right now. But that's
Yeah.
along those lines.
Let's work something out.
But they'll figure that out. Anything else?
I think anything else can be resolved tomorrow.
Good. Well, then I guess I'm gonna have to figure out bed arrangements.
Well, I've got a few things to sort up downstairs, but if you need me for anything,
Yes.
and he
Uh,
vacates.
I just realized that we're talking about bed for her, and then we also have what's his name again? Rask. Just sleeping.
Who literally
at
just
the time of
sleeps in the kitchen by the stove.
Yeah.
He kind of chose to do that, didn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely
did.
That's
did.
how warm it is. So that's
Yeah,
that's different.
he did that on his own.
It's
Did
because
we
he's
ever
a
offer him
lizard.
a room?
Yeah, he's a lizard.
Yeah.
He's cold-blooded.
It's fine.
Of course, he's gonna sleep somewhere warm.
I think if we ever get an expansion at this point, we're gonna need
Rask might
We
as well be be a chef at this
We
point.
can have a sauna that he can just sleep in.
Vondal.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, sauna. We've already had the beach episode. Were you not
I have
satisfied?
plans for
Were you
this
not
cast.
satisfied by the beach episode? Also, what do you mean you have plans?
I
I
meant
want to
just
hear
a
all about
I
these
meant-
plans.
I meant to have a sauna inside of it. Get your head out of the gutter, you crazies.
Oh,
No, I want to hear all about.
Yeah, I want to hear all about your sauna.
I really did
episode.
just mean a sauna, to have.
I was so confused. It sounded like you had plans for a sauna scene, and I was
No,
like, what?
Yeah.
I just had
Yeah.
plans for a sauna.
Like, what kind of? I'm sorry. Have you been writing fan fiction and not told us?
Yeah, really, I have.
everyone
My
in it.
whole life.
Just everyone in the sauna.
Oh
Oh.
my god.
Oh my
have you been writing the sauna episode without telling anyone?
Wow. Writing the sauna episode. Anyway, I
birds
really
chilling on
was
the
just
hot tub.
meaning about having a sauna, not anything else. Dirty-minded people.
You were the
What
one
if
who
we could have this
suggested
being
it.
an
I
18
just suggested
plus.
having a sauna.
Why
That's
do
all
you-
I wanted.
Why do you want a sauna?
Saunas are nice and warm.
To be fair, they're great
is
for
so-
relaxing.
So is a bath.
Oh
That's
my
not the
God.
same.
It is different, to be fair.
Also, he's a lizard. I don't know if lizards like baths.
Good point.
Some lizards
I
like
guess
water.
it depends on the lizard, I guess, because some
Yeah,
lizards-
some lizards love water.
Oh, it's fine. Well,
crocodiles,
well,
anyone?
no.
Anyways,
For now, we'll just let Rask do his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Let him sleep where he wants to sleep because it's warm.
let's see. Oh, yeah, because this is okay. I know. I was like thinking who like all the bed assignments, but yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and ask Arya if she like how she feels about moving out of her room for a bit, or if she.
Old.
So this is gonna be interesting. I guess if you're in your room, I guess I'll knock on the door.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if you've looked at the map.
Yeah, but like, you know, like
Because Elizabeth does wants to intercept you on your way, presumably up the
Oh.
stairs.
Sure, we can do that first.
'Cause, yeah, she
yeah,
just
I
wants to
realize
go-
I didn't move myself because I'm a fool.
I
I don't know where I am.
You're on the
You're in
second
the
floor.
basement.
No, I know that, but I meant like I don't
Yeah.
know where I'm
Ah.
going.
Because yeah, Elizabeth just wants to go. Oh, Grim, I was meaning to ask. The books
Yes.
we gathered. Can I take them into my room to read through them?
Sure.
I don't imagine you're gonna read them.
I
or,
think
like,
you
hand off to
underestimate my like most of what I know is from reading.
Well,
Like I may not be that.
I'm just wondering how interested you are in Lavaman.
I guess that's true. I will just. I'll bring him. I'll stop by him because it's just easier instead of handing him to you here. The bag makes it.
Yeah, I just wanted to actually catch you and be like, yeah, I can have the
Let's-
books.
we can arrange it. Just, be careful, all the standard stuff, and I just thinking about it. Just be sure that the pages aren't cursed or something. I don't know. I don't know Ladderman that well, or how
I will
paranoid.
be. If it will make you happy, I will cast Detect Magic before I pick up any of the books.
That sounds like a deal.
Cool.
Okay. Well, off to next issue. Let's see how this goes.
So yeah, assuming she gets the books, Elizabeth's going to start reading a lot of books.
So, anything else? Jayla?
What? Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
Just making sure
I'm
that you
considering
did.
something. You can go and talk to Arya first. I'm trying to think about
Ah.
if I want to do a thing, or if Kelariis would do a thing, I should say.
I guess I'll knock on
So
Arya.
you
Was that
knocking
an
on the
awkward
door?
knock?
Elizabeth's awkward knock on Arya's door.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
That's so funny. We got sound effects this session, guys.
Also, I'm just looking at the size of the room. Lyra at a larger size takes up literally half that room.
Yep.
She does.
Well, to be
She's
fair,
big.
you also have to remember, just because it's a 10 by 10 token doesn't mean Lyra is a 10 by 10 cube of full.
Could you imagine Lyra being a 10 by 10
I
10 by 10
know.
cube
A
of
chunky
fur
boy.
wool?
John!
A chunky boy.
no, I know this. I'm just pointing out that
Uh,
because of the furniture in there as well, she probably does still take up half of the free space.
it's fine.
I love bigger Lyra, I just want to say.
Yeah, say.
Chonk.
Gives me
Chonk.
life.
She probably.
This is fine.
Yeah.
Technically
well,
the 10 by 10 space is just the threat zone that she occupies.
The
Threat
threat zone.
zone.
Enter the threat zone, bitch!
Well, it's the same way that each of us is not 5 feet wide.
The
That's
threat
true.
zone. No, but it's so funny to hear it called the threat zone.
I
Like
know,
that's
I
just
love
so
that.
good.
See, that's one word away from being the fright zone, which just makes me think of She-Ra.
it's fine. But yes.
Threat zone is so good.
Okay, well, I'm gonna open up the door.
So Arya, remember how I invited what's her name again?
Tiff.
Tiff, to join us?
Yeah.
Turns out we are kind of out of beds. I don't know if because I know you do your whole meditation thing, and I don't know how easy if actually I just realized I could ask if you wanted to go outside or in the hallway or something, or join someone else. But then I realized that we're just kind of in danger mode. I'd put it.
Yeah, I don't know
Um,
how safe it would be for me to just chill out outside.
yes.
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Like, I could probably just
Oh,
I don't
maybe
know.
you could maybe share rooms with Kelariis or Elizabeth.
Might be a tight
I'm
fit
gonna
with
go ahead and say
Lyra.
Kelariis here.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's probably the better choice.
Well,
Well,
there is one ex-party member who still sleeps here that you could share a room with.
There
yes.
is.
I know. I could share a room with Vandal, but I might just
That wasn't who I meant.
Oh.
I was gonna say, I
Ferrous
don't think
was
that's
referring
the
to.
person.
I'm pretty sure Ferrous was referring to
Oh,
Arya could
V.
share with V.
Wait, but V, does she even sleep here?
She does
She's
now.
got the,
Yeah.
she's got the plan.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
because it's cold out.
Yeah, she's
that's
got the
true.
she's got the plant room. That's why we have that room.
It's fine. I forgot.
This
I forgot.
room.
Look, I thought it was for Sadani or for Sarah or something.
No,
I
they
wasn't
sleep
sure.
downstairs, don't they?
Yeah, they sleep in the bunks.
Ah, yes.
I love how
Wait.
the V room is just denoted by a single plant.
Yeah, that's
I
how
mean,
you know
it's
it's V's
fitting, let's
room.
be
It's
real.
got a floor in it.
This is fine.
I mean, I could
Agreed,
either
that's
share
nice.
with V or Kelariis, but I could also just equally just chill out in the mess hall, I guess.
Okay,
Well,
but could you imagine somebody going into the mess hall in the morning and just fucking Arya's in there meditating?
It's fine.
Actually, no, it's fine because assuming they went to bed at the same time, Arya would have been up and about for 4 hours anyway.
Yeah.
yeah. But if you would be willing to do that, that would be much appreciated. Although I would slightly prefer if you stayed in this building so that Elizabeth can easily, set up security.
That's fair.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I could just
well,
ask Kelariis or V or something.
Yes.
Sure, it's not that big of a deal. I think Lyra probably used my bed more than I did.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's why I asked you.
It's not like I need to lay down.
Sorry, Lyra, but you're gonna have to make sacrifices.
Arya opens the door and you peer around the corner and just the entire bed is just underneath dog.
I was gonna say, yeah, you probably can't
So
see
good.
the bed because dog.
Sorry about the hair.
Yeah, she sheds.
Okay.
Why would she be shedding now?
No, I
Dogs
don't
always
think you
shed.
understand. Dogs shed all the fucking time.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
time when dogs are not shedding. It's a
fair.
myth that they only shed one time a year.
Yeah, that is an absolute lie.
It's
I'm
such
used,
bullshit.
sorry,
Wait.
I'm used to cats where maybe you get the occasional hair on you in winter and then it
What?
comes to
Cut-
spring and summer and then
What? No.
What kind of cats do you have? Oh my god.
The outrage.
I had cats my whole life, and all of them shed all year fucking round.
Yeah, but
Good
nowhere near as
God.
much as spring and summer.
I don't know. When you have a long-haired Maine Coon, you just live in hair.
I think that's your problem. You had a long-haired Maine Coon.
Also,
That's your
to be fair,
problem. It's not cats
be fair,
all. It's just you had a Maine
cats
Coon.
cats and dogs do shed more in the warm months, which makes sense, but they do not stop shedding in winter.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there's hair everywhere. But yeah, I don't mind.
Sure.
We might have to. I'll probably have to ask somebody. It looks like Kelariis' room might be bigger.
Oh,
So-
like floor plan.
Yeah,
space
floor-wise.
wise. Yeah.
Well, that's
You say that like these 4 rooms aren't exactly the
Well,
same.
No,
No,
but V's room is smaller.
No, that's
yeah.
why I said, these 4, as in these ones, not
Yeah,
these ones.
the rooms
No, but I
V
think-
and Vandal have are smaller.
Yeah.
it's fine.
It's fine.
Actually, I was gonna say, didn't Grim have a downstairs one anyway?
Yes.
Yes, I slept downstairs. However, still one bed short.
One bed
Uh,
short for who?
Because you have a guest.
Yes, I remember.
Oh.
We were full on beds, and now we have a guest. So Grim has given up his bed for the guest. Now you're giving up your bed for Grim.
Yes, for Tiff. I
Yes.
remember the name. Haha.
Yeah. Also, wasn't this one Arya's room? Which the only reason I remember is because I think I was in this room and had to
Yes.
fucking
Yeah.
stumble
Oh,
across that I was bleeding from my gut.
Yeah. No, that's
but
what
I guess it
thought
doesn't
too.
really matter at this point, but
It's fine.
it's fine. We do the room
Word.
shuffle, it's fine.
Like I imagine it's like unless people have like personal belongings, then like in the cabinet or something, then
Anyway.
good. I guess that's that taken care of. Although I just realized I should probably say hi to Tiff. Maybe we all should. What do you?
Probably.
You know, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. It's late. We can just head to bed.
So
Or like, unless one of you guys wants to do it.
yeah, you take Arya's room. Arya, you decide which one you want to share with. And Kelariis, did you have a quick scene or?
I don't think that.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I was trying to think if it makes more sense or like if Kelariis would do it now or after tomorrow is the thing, and I don't. I think it'll be after tomorrow's, like, the other thing tomorrow, unless that goes horribly sideways, so I'm just gonna...
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Cool.
sit on it for a second, because that was what I was trying to decide, because I couldn't really... Yeah.
In that case, let us take a short break.
Minimr.